it's Danny with CraftCoBudgets. I'm doing my first tutorial. All I can say is I'm going to do my best. I've never done a tutorial before, so I thought I would do one. I am making A5 envelopes. They're not exactly A5 size, but they will fit an A5 7x5 savings challenge. Oh, sorry. So, bear with me. Thank God for editing. This is how I make my envelopes. This is the sizes I use. Other people might do different sizes, do it a different way. That's my disclaimer. This is just how I do them. So, what you will need. You will need a laminator. I think you can see just a bit of it. You will need 5mm laminating sheets. I have a borderless printing feature on my printer, so I can basically create an envelope to size using my borderless. If you don't have borderless, you can of course make two of the same size and put them together. I fold mine, kind of gives it a bit more durability. The size that I print out is 7.75 inches, and each envelope is 5.5 inches. So because I'm folding it, it will be exactly 11 inches, hence doing the borderless. So this is just regular cardstock, and I did print on the back too because I'm extra. You don't have to. It'll just be white inside, but you know, I'm extra. I like to do things the hard way. I do print this borderless, so no matter where I cut, it'll have the print. Just that's my safety net. I'm also doing a dashboard. Now, I'm actually making my envelopes for my new savings binder, which I got from Laura at Laura Bell Creations, and I love it. And yes, we're doing purple. I have lots of little charms in here that I put in. Jen from Jen Finally Saves sent me these charms, and these are just some pins that I had that I just threw in there. I may decorate it some more, but I haven't got there. So this will be my savings binder, and it's going to be getting my cauldrons in a row. My dashboard is a little bigger. It is 8.25 inches across and 6.75 inches wide. Long. I just print that. I use a heavier cardstock for dashboards. This is, I don't go by pounds because I've learnt about paper. This is actually a 216 GSM. So this is an 80-pound cardstock, but you can have like 110 pounds, can be 99 GSM. It can change. Anyway, I'll put all the measurements and the paper I use and the laminate all linked below. So this is a heavy cardstock because I want it as a dashboard. I basically laminate this and I cut it to size, which may be hard, but anyway, because I like to make things difficult for myself. Okay, so I have my corner rounder. Just as a note, I do not corner round things that have the cardstock up to the edge. Let me show you this one here. This little guy does not punch through my paper and the laminate. I don't know, but I have a commercial corner rounder. That's what I do for like a full-size dashboard. This one here, when I make the envelopes, I can use this because it's only cutting through the laminate. I hope that makes sense. I have a pair of scissors because my cutter blade is a little blunt, okay? So we'll get there. So you've got choices. Not everyone has a guillotine, a paper cutter like this. I use this when I want to do several things at once. I'll probably use this with the laminate, after these are laminated, to trim up. But you can also use just, oh, that's not going to work, guys. You can also use just like a paper cutter like this. I've had this for so long. You can buy these blades, which I haven't changed up because I like to get most of it, use out of it. You can use one of these. We're going to use this to trim these down. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to see everything. I'm going to move stuff I don't need right now out of the way. We're going to move this. I need to turn my laminator on, guys. I just have a very basic, I wonder if I can show you. Hang on. Look, these are very cheap laminators. This is the one I use. I don't know if you can see it. I can't pull it too far because it's connected. It's just a Scotch laminator, and it does 3 and 5 mil. Sorry, I think I knocked the camera. I just put something underneath to hold it. So I turn on my laminator when I start. I'm laminating 5 mil, so I've turned it on to 5 mil. This one's ready to be laminated. So I'm going to do one envelope. I think this is the easiest way. I'm going to do one envelope in total to show you how I do it. And then it's exactly the same for the rest. So this is actually 2 sides. So all I need to do is trim this to the right size. And it's behaving. So we're going to trim this to our 7.75. And I'm going to show you here. I don't know if you can see it. There is a wire on this one, which is awesome because you can just line up where you want to cut right with that wire. And I have used this when I was making savings challenges. This is a workhorse. So we're going to trim up this. And honestly, guys, some things are not always perfect, and that's okay. So our envelope is ready, trimmed down to size. Now, what I'm going to do is, I get paper everywhere, guys. I am just going to fold this the best you can. And as I said, these are all handmade things. They're not perfect. I just fold it, and I do get my scissors, and I do run them over here to smooth that out a little bit. Makes it easier on the laminator. So then we get a laminating sheet. What I'll do is a dashboard and an envelope. So let's grab a laminating sheet. Now with your laminating sheet, there is one end that doesn't separate. That's where I like to put the top of my envelope. I push it right up against that because I'm going to be cutting that. I try and make it straight. I don't always make it straight, but that's where cutting you can straighten it. So I do not believe that I can fit another envelope in there. Let's try it, shall we? I don't think so, looking at it, because you've got to have space to hole punch. So let's trim up another one and let's see if we can fit it in. I doubt very much. I use 1/2 inch for hole punching. Some people use 1/4 inch. I use 1/2 inch. So let's trim up one and let's see if it'll fit, but I don't think so. So what I do is if it doesn't fit, I don't like wasting laminate, so I always have something around that I can fill the space with because I don't want to waste it. Okay, so this is my second category. Let's get this folded in half. And sometimes, you know, I use a lot of black and it's a pain. It's my own damn fault, okay? So, we got our second envelope. Just going to fold that. And let's see. Now, no, there is not enough room here, so we're not going to do it. But if I was doing A6, I would definitely, I think I can fit 3 on for A6. And I always put the edge, the side we're going to cut to the side, just so I always know what we're cutting. So that's not going to fit. So I always have something around that I need to laminate, and these are my high yield savings account balances that I do use, and I can never have enough. So I'm just going to put that in there so we don't waste the laminate. You always want to make sure that you've got enough space to do the hole punching and enough space to cut so it seals. My laminator takes a hot minute to get warm. Why do I use the cheap laminator? It's the best one I found. I have expensive laminators. I have middle of the range laminators. I have tried many. I have to tell you, for 35 bucks on Walmart, or I think it's more expensive on Amazon, but I paid between 35 and 40 for this laminator, and I always have a spare one. They are troopers. One thing I forgot to mention is you will need a hole punch, and it doesn't matter what size hole punch you have, just as long as you can punch the size you need. And what I have a tendency to do, because not all hole punches are the same, my friends, ask me how I know. What I like to do is to make sure with my binder that though this has an A5 setting, I don't know if you can see that. It has an A5 setting, which it's on right now. I like to make sure, and I put my punch on here, and I check that the holes, I know you can't see that. I check the holes match. As I said, ask me how I know. Not all hole punches work as good as the other. So this one I think I got on Amazon. I can't even remember. I've had it for so long. So that's, and I just tipped everything out, which is just awesome. When you're making envelopes or making challenges, it's a hot mess, guys. Just saying. So let me get that out the way. And sometimes if I hole punch a lot, they get stuck in there quite a bit. And I have to empty it quite a lot, but that's fine. So my laminator is ready. I don't know how I'm going to show you. Let me move this over here. Let me see if I can move my laminator down. Hang on a minute. Let me move my pens. You don't want anything in front of your laminator, guys, because it'll buckle. Let me see if you can see that. Give me a second. I've got my camera phone up really high. No, not really. Let's see if we can move it down a bit more. That's about the best that I'm going to be able to do, I think. Yep. Okay, so we're going to run this through just once for right now. And then we'll get this right out of the way. We'll let that run through. I usually hold on to it if there's something on the bottom. And I'm sorry if this is cut off, but I'm trying. And I'm going to have a drink. My desk is always a hot mess, no matter how hard I try. So, we're going to laminate this. We're going to move this stuff out the way. So we're going to leave the laminator on because we will be laminating this again. All right, so now we have our laminate, okay? Now, for the envelope, oh, you know what? While I'm here, I'm just going to laminate my dashboard. Just while I'm here, because then we can cut both of them. And I'm breaking my own rules by having something in front of my laminator, but I'll just make sure that it doesn't mess anything up. Actually, it will. So let me move them. You know, I've got this huge desk and I don't have enough room. So while that's going through, let's get this guillotine. I call it a guillotine or a paper cutter. The first thing I'm going to do, just to get it out the way, is take that one. Take the one that I did off. And we'll deal with that in a minute. My dashboard's there, it can just sit there. So what I like to do, the very first thing that I like to do is I like to cut where I'm going to hole punch. And I measure, I don't know if you can see this, I measure from where the cardstock ends. So this will be 5.5. So the edge of my paper cutter, I measure, nope, sorry, I do it wrong every time, even when I'm not on camera. So the top of the envelope, I measure 5.5 inches. Okay, and did you see what I almost did? This is 5.5 inches. I'm going to make this 6 inches. I'm adding 1/2 inch onto the size of the card. So that gives me 1/2 inch to hole punch. So I avoided that mistake. I'm very happy with myself. So that is how long it will be. Then all I do to trim this is, I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see where it hasn't sealed, because you will get where it hasn't sealed around the cardstock. You want to make sure you cut beyond that. So what I generally do is I generally measure. I just judge it how I see it. We are going to laminate it again. So hopefully, I think that should be good. I'll show you here in a minute. So as you can see, I've cut it just beyond where it didn't seal, and I just do that again on this side. And you know what? It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. This is just how I do it. Let's hope I've got that one good enough. Ooh, that one. See how I cut that real close? That was too close. So that is the envelope. Now we've got to open it. So we put that in and we just cut at the very top of it. I'm going to sit on my 5.5 inches because that should be enough. There's always a little air pocket. Okay, let's have a look. Let's get this out the way. And voila, there is your envelope. So what I do is I run it through the laminator again. Let's pull this down as far as we can. I run it through 2 more times because I'm paranoid. So I laminated it this way. I am now going to laminate it this way. You can do it. Everyone does it differently. I just like to get that seal. For my own paranoia, I just run it through in total 3 times. So I'll run it through twice here. Look at this. Look how messy everything is. It's when you deal with paper, you get so much dust. So I ran it through again, and I did cut that too close, but it's my binder. I'm not selling it. I'm okay with that, but I am going to run it through 1 more time, and I'm going to run it this way. And I forgot to corner round it. Normally I would corner round it then, and I would laminate it again. Also be aware that if you laminate it too many times, it can burn. It leaves white patches if you've over laminated. So if it happens, because normally I only do it twice, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is my envelope. Okay, and that has sealed just a little bit more, but then I use just a medium, and I like corner rounding my envelopes everywhere because I do. It's just, you know, to each his own. To each his own. Now, because the reason I laminate again is because I'm actually breaking that seal open. And I like to make sure that it is sealed. So I'm going to run it through this way. And then I'm going to hole punch it. No, we'll hole punch after because we're going to cut this up. And I'll show you how I do it fully laminated. I prefer cutting it this way. It just works better. Okay, so there's my envelope, and it didn't burn. So we're going to let that cool down over here. Maybe. Let me lay it over there. Now we need to cut this one. I'm going to move these right out of the way now. Okay, so this one I am just basically winging it. So I'm going to cut right on the border here. What did I say? 6.75. Okay, so I'm going to kind of wing it. This is going to be 6.75, which this one doesn't. So it's going to be in the middle of these two. So if I think I do 6.5, I think we'll be good. So 6.5. And it's trial and error, guys. This is the first time I'm doing this size dashboard. Oh, and it moved. Look, it moved. And I haven't had this for very long. That really annoys me. I can't handle that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to 6.5. 6.5. And 6.5. No, we're not. We're going to just straighten this out because that annoys me. So I just find somewhere that I can line up. Because I got the light on, it's really hard to see. I want to line it up so that I get a straighter edge, and we're just going to go with it, okay? We're just going to go with it. All right, let's see if I can get this to cut better. Whoop. Come on. I got it. That's better. So from there, I want to make this 6. What am I going to make it? 6.25. So that's in between there. I mean, it's not completely straight, but guys, it's mine. I don't care. So that looks like it's pretty straight except for this little bendy bit. We're going to hold this down a lot better. There's that. Now I want to make this 8.25. So let's just, if you can't figure it out, I usually cut the white ends off. And then I can measure more accurately. So then what I would do is, okay, 8.25, which is in the middle here, right there. 8.25. That is almost where it should be. So I'm just going to cut the white part off, and that should be my dashboard. I know I sound like I have no idea what I'm doing, but okay, it's not perfect, but it's going to do for me. So what I'll do now is, before I run it through the laminator again, let's get this right out the way. I'm going to round the corners. I need to do it, as I said, on my commercial corner rounder. So give me 1 second. We'll get that done. Yes, it's on the floor. All right, so you'll see I just rounded the corners. This one's a bit funky because it wasn't straight, but I hole punch it as well. I've already checked this. Because this is an odd size, I am going to hole punch this by sight. And I think that this might be, I might have to empty this, guys. I think I would have checked before I did a tutorial, which I don't know if I ever want to do again. You're welcome, Kimmy. Okay, I'm back. You guys, that was really stuck in there. It took me forever to get that out, but that's what happens sometimes. So let's put this back on. Let's get this punched, and usually I do it by eye to get as best I can in the middle. And I'm using, don't forget I'm using heavier cardstock. So I've punched it. Now I've corner rounded, sorry guys, and punched. Now I'm going to run it through my laminator. So to seal everything good. So I usually go opposite. Ooh, I'm excited about getting it into my binder. And while we're here, and I usually do the same when I hole punch, but I'm not going to do it right now. We are just going to punch this one. And even though it's got guides, I have a tendency to do it by eye. I'm not always right, but hey. Voila. So this is done. We'll run it through one more time, going this way. And, ooh, we get to put it in my book from Laura. Everything is purple. Yep, I'm having a moment. But this, I wanted to make this a really special book because this is the first time that I'm not saving to pay off debt because we're debt free. And now I'm saving for the sake of saving. And that makes me very excited. So let's see if my dashboard works well. I'll let it cool down for a minute. I'm going to turn my laminator off. Get that out the way. Let this cool down a bit. And let's see. Oh my God. Look, do you know what? I did exactly what I said. Because I was banging it, I didn't punch it right. So I knew something would happen. They're both going to be wrong. So there you go. Don't feel bad that you mess up, because look at me. I've been doing this for so long and I still mess up. And now it's stuck. Come on, baby. Come on. Story of my life, guys. Story of my life. So sometimes the pins don't pop out, especially if you're using a thicker. What there is, the punch holes are stuck in there. So I like to try and push it out. See, I'm doing real life here, guys. This is the first time this one's actually done it to me. Sometimes I just bash it. So, what can I bash it on? Usually it's my table. Hang on. That didn't work. Oh, there we go. Okay, so sometimes you can just push the spring up. Can you see that? How the two of them are stuck? There's one. I just get a tool and tell it to behave. Oh, that one's really stuck. Okay, come on. Oh, got it. So this tool is a Cricut weeder. I've never used it for weeding, but my God, it's a handy tool. Whew, there you go. Doesn't look perfect, but I finally got a dashboard. And of course, this is going to be out. So let's go back in here. I need to put this back on here. Real life, my friends, real life. Okay, let's get this correct. Let's get this all correct. Oops. Yeah, and sometimes I drive myself crazy. This is why I don't like making envelopes, because if you mess that up, it's a whole ordeal to try and get done, right? Oh. And there you have it. I have my dashboard. Yes, I'm doing it this way because this is the way I'm doing it. I have my dashboard started, getting my cauldrons in a row, and I have my first envelope, which will be for savings. This will be my randomizer binder. With everything I've saved during the month, it will be randomized into this binder. And I wanted this bigger than the envelopes. And I was quite happy just to punch it, you know, and not have any border. So once you make sure your punch is correct, you're fine. So that is how I make envelopes. And I prefer to do it the way I did, so I don't have to try and line them up because I'm hopeless. I'm not the best at making envelopes, as you can see. This one, I'm not sure will last because I got a little too close, but of course I can make another one. But that's it, my friends. That's it. I will try and put, the binder is from Laura Bell Creations. I created the dashboards and the envelopes. I will put the sizing below and the tools I used if I can find them all. So that's it. That's the best I can do, Kimmy. If anyone's got any questions, please put them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, I'm out of here because this was traumatic. Okay? Okay. All right, guys. I will see you in my next video. You take care, everyone. And yes, I'm thinking about making my charms. I will get there. All right, I am so out of here. I'm going to finish making my envelopes. And I might put in a shot at the end of it complete. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Peace out.